Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another Empires and Puzzles video. Long time no see. It's been a while. I'll be putting out a video soon talking about sort of where I've been, what I've been up to. Haven't been making content for Empires and Puzzles lately. I'll get into that in the video, but things have just gotten a bit crazy in the game, and it took away some of my enthusiasm. But I miss the community angle, so there's always been something about videos that I like making, so I figured this would be a good excuse to get back into it. So we have the Soul Exchange. I think we're on number 8, number 9, something like that. If you've ever wondered what Empires and Puzzles would be like with way more quality of life features, a dev team that listens to player feedback, and more value for your money spent, then download Gemstone Legends right now from the links in the description of this video to get yourself a free $50 starter bonus. I know it can be intimidating to start a new game like this, but between myself and other great content creators, there are tons of tutorial videos out there to make playing Gemstone Legends a lot of fun. The fact that they offer a $50 starter bonus to new players and have such great quality of life features are two big reasons why over 50,000 Empires and Puzzles players have already made the switch. It's awesome, and I look forward to seeing you there. And we're going to go through it and talk about my suggestions. As usual, we have 10, 15, and 20 hero levels. I'll start at the 10, work up to the 20, and give my thoughts, and hopefully that can help inform your decision. I know a lot of people seem to get impatient with these and make a decision within the first few hours or something, so if that was you, this video might not be of much help, or it can help justify a decision that you did make. So let's get into it here. The levels that are set up here are a bit strange to me. I don't agree with some of the placements here, but there are some good options. So let's talk through it. First up, Chaz Rat. Can't suggest this guy by any means. Slow heroes, especially with dated stats like this, are just too hard to work with, and I wouldn't recommend it. Deals 235 to all. All enemies with dispellable mono generation buff get minus 54% mono generation for 4 turns. Cannot be cleansed. All enemies are immune to new status effect buffs for 4 turns. Element Link gives 10% increase for healing for all dark allies. Not a very good Element Link, not much damage. You can't really rely on this as a mana buff dispel at slow speed. You know, there's a chance that he's never even going to fire, so not going to spend any more time on that one. There are some passives and stuff too, but it's not enough to make a difference. Matilda was very interesting when she came out. Didn't really stick around that much, even though there's potential there. Just goes to show that high damage output, direct damage, is always going to be superior. So we have average speed. Stats you can see are quite a bit better than Chaz Rat. All enemies receive 330 poison damage over 3 turns. Pretty low these days, but that's where it starts. Summons a Muffin Fiend for all enemies. The Fiend damages the enemy with 38% attack. The Muffin Fiend absorbs 35% health. Each hit from the Muffin Fiend has the following effect. Target takes plus 50% increased damage from status ailments for 3 turns. There's a 25% chance to refresh the duration of the status ailment with the least turns remaining. So what I remember is that this used to be a 50% chance or maybe even 100% chance, and they did nerf it afterward because if you stacked up a few different kinds of dot and it was constantly refreshing and boosting the amount, it was significant. But at this point, there's enough heroes that give increased damage taken, which applies, I think, to dot damage. It's actually a good question. I think it does. So yeah, I'll think about it a bit more as I talk through these. I don't think that's my recommendation for 10. All right, Erebus. Times 1 destroys all minions, deals 520 to the target. All minions from the target only. 2 destroys all minions from the target. Deals 610 to the target. Target can't summon new minions, receives 200 damage for each minion they attempt to summon. 3rd charge destroys all minions from the target, deals 675, and then it's the same thing for 4 turns instead of 3. So only removing minions from 1 can be helpful. It doesn't apply to mega minions. That's something to keep in mind. These minion removal things are separate. I think this takes away 50% health, if I remember correctly, from a Mega Minion. So very strong damage. If you're lacking a good sniper, this can be a good option. Because even at level 1, you're doing 520, which is pretty solid. These are the double limit broken stats, which are pretty solid. All right, next. I think this is my pick here just due to the speed being more reliable. Rogue class, immune to mana blocking, resist special skill blocking. Innate resistance against status ailments that block special skills. All right, dispels buffs from the target first, which is nice if they have an increased defense buff or something. Deals 460 to the target. Caster and nearby allies' special skills deal an additional 40% damage for 3 turns. So if you have a blue stack all side by side, I guess you'd want some defense down first, so this might not be the best way to go about it. But synergy is nice, speed is nice, damage is a bit lacking. Stats are a bit lacking as well, but decent. But, you know, at least with a very fast speed hero, you're going to be able to fire him every time. And if you can make the right synergy, you can put something good together. Sylvaria is another one I wouldn't recommend. Just too old at this point, 2022. Targeted nearby enemies get minus 34% defense for 3 turns. So that happens before the hit, which is interesting and unique. Deals 380 to the target, which is very low for single target damage, especially at average speed. Summons a forest familiar minion for all allies with 15% HP. Element Link gives plus 10% attack, which is almost pointless. The passives are not enough to make me recommend her. The damage is just too low. It's an interesting hero, but damage is too low. All right, so I think of this level, I would probably recommend Erebus or Himeros, depending on what you need and what kind of synergies you can make. All right, level 2, we have some interesting heroes here. This is actually the level I'm personally most excited about. So Nyx, solid. There's double limit broken stats. Okay. First charge. These are 6, 9, and 12 tiles. 3 different charges, and I do not believe you need any mana troops for those. So that gives you some other troop options depending on what you have. Deals 220 damage to all. All allies get plus 30% attack. All right, 9 tiles, deals 360 to all. All enemies get minus 34% defense for 3 turns. Times 3 deals 395 to all. All allies get plus 50% attack, which is sizable. All enemies get minus 44% defense. So the nice thing is, if you have a great purple board, then you've got a really solid hero. If you got a less good purple board, you have options as well. So I do like these kinds of heroes. Immune to defense and elemental defense. What's the family bonus here? Yep, that's pretty cool too. So I do like her. Dated in terms of stats and damage, but a solid all-around hero. Lao Hu, I think is his name. Fast speed, deals 605 to the target. Let's take a look at the stats. Again, on the softer side, but not bad. Deals 605 to the target, boosts the caster's health by 50% of damage dealt. So boosts, which is nice. This can be a good hero to have left at the end of a battle. If you can keep getting him charged, then you can keep healing him while dealing damage. So it's a nice trade-off. This hero gives the following... Oh, that's an event bonus thing. So the good thing about this hero is attacks and abilities of all minions owned by enemies are disabled. I don't know if this hero needs to be alive for that because they don't mention it, and I've never had one of these heroes. But there's still a lot of water pipes around Lady of the Lake in Rush tournaments, things like that. And those heroes are very annoying. Granted, there's other mana cutting effects that aren't tied to minions that are more prolific now. But this can be a good thing to have, and this might be who I go with. This would be, I think, one of the first times I don't take a level 20 or a 20 hero option. But I would like to have this effect, and I thought this hero was average, but at fast speed, I can work with that a bit better. So I do like that. But yeah, the passive is what it's all about. And then the special skill is just nice synergy to kind of, you've had those battles before, you have 1 or 2 heroes left, the enemy has 1 or 2 heroes left, and it's kind of like whoever has more healing at that point is going to win. It's not to say he'll even be alive at that point, but it is a consideration. All right, Barkley was also very good when he came out. A little more dated at this point, but still interesting. Average speed deals 300% damage to the target and 2 random enemies. So you get to choose 1 target. Summons a missile fiend to hit enemies. Damages with 55% attack. Absorbs 28% HP. If an enemy is defeated while it has a missile fiend, nearby enemies receive 500 damage. That's the nice part. If you use him as like a finishing hit in a group of 3 heroes and you're able to do enough damage to kill someone after, there's a lot of carryover damage that can happen, which is pretty good. Fighter class, which is great. The passives are good too, where you gain some mana if you gain a minion, and you deal some damage if you summon a fiend to the enemy. So I do like Barkley. I still have him. I have him leveled, and I still use him sometimes. It would be good if you could aim 2 of the attacks instead of just 1. Sometimes 1 isn't enough, but the right synergy can work and deal a lot of damage. So he is a good finisher. All right, so Miriam in Midnight was an exceptional hero and was nerfed, if I remember correctly. It's been a little while at this point. Average speed, blue kitten minion for caster nearby with 30% HP. Recovers 22% health at the end of each turn for the owner, which is nice. And I think if you have multiple, then you're recovering 44, 66 as well, because each minion is going to be doing that. It's not boosted, but it can top you off. The minion lifts the newest cleansable status ailment from its owner and adds it to the hit target. Caster nearby allies get plus 50% attack. So this is pretty good. I don't know that I can recommend this. I don't know. I think you'll just have to decide if that's the kind of thing you want. The cleanse maybe is a little too late, but there's some interesting stuff going on here. Decent minion HP, great attack boost, and some healing can be nice. I forget what the nerf was. It's been a while, but this was a hero that was like really popular at first, and then they nerfed and it got a lot less popular. All right, last up in 15 is Queen Anne. So slow speed. You have this good passive. I think this is the cover. Yeah, when this character receives damage from special skills or in place of a character in cover, there's a 60% chance to deal 20% of the received damage to all enemies. And this cover thing, you can pause that and read that. Slow speed. Caster gets a taunt that prevents enemies from using special skills for 6 turns. Caster regenerates 918 HP over 6 turns. That could certainly be a lot higher. All allies get plus 65% defense and plus 44% mana generation for 6 turns. That's a real long time. She does get alpha taunt with alpha ethers. Cleric class, pretty good for not being targeted by mana slowing ailments or things like that. The slow speed is the tough thing. Again, the alpha taunt is nice, and all these buffs are nice. What I recommend, I'm not sure. I think my pick in this center row would be him, because this minion thing can be so powerful. Are you going to use him on every team? Probably not, but that depends on your options. However, having that ability in your roster does seem like a good benefit, and 15 heroes is pretty reasonable. There are, I think, almost all the options in this center row are pretty good for someone. So based on what I discussed, you'll have to decide what's for you. Queen Anne, just tough at slow speed. If you use any of these heroes that I've mentioned and you think that I'm missing something, please do chime in the comments for the benefits of other people who are trying to make this decision or just research heroes. All right, level 20. Costume Guardian Panther, again, was an exceptional hero, was nerfed, is still good, but less good. Fast speed is nice, 285 to all, minus 34% against Dark for 3 turns, and status effect block instead of the Dispel. The Dispel is better in my opinion, they each do a different thing. If you Dispel before there are any buffs there, not very good. Similarly, if you try to block buffs after it's already happened, not very good. But if you flip those scenarios, then they each serve a different purpose. The costume bonus did get a good buff recently. That's a very generous costume bonus, and these stats are the best that we've seen so far, I think. Yeah, Paladin, pretty solid. So a good choice there. Jkun. It's a very fast speed. Stats are still pretty good. I have this hero, not really that impressed. It's nice that he does something to everyone. The damage is decent for very fast speed. But I don't like heroes that do a little bit to everyone. I'd prefer to have a more specialized hero that's just doing one particular thing at a better, in a larger amount, I guess. Like a minus 60% accuracy only to dark and doesn't do anything else. Something like that is more my preference, but I can understand people liking, no matter what team you use him against, he's going to do something that's going to help you in a way. Very fast speed, again, is nice. The damage is not huge. Passives are interesting. I'll let you pause and read those. So, yeah, he's pretty solid. I think he was the first elemental hero to come out. Pretty solid, but not outstanding in my experience. All right, I'm surprised to see her at this level. Again, stats are fairly dated, but not terrible. The Bard family thing is the best. If you don't have other family bonuses going on, you get plus 5% mana, which can push you over various different mana breakpoints that you wouldn't be able to achieve with troops otherwise. So that can be nice. Like, for example, if you have Lepiota with the costume bonus and the 20th mana node and a level 29 or above wizard troop and the Bard family bonus, she now goes from fast speed to very fast speed. So 6 tiles, and you have the Abyss ability, which is really nice. They also changed this passive. The chance of revival is reduced for all enemies in the battle. The chance is 20% of the original value. I think this was just improved recently, which probably implies that the Bard family will be seeing some new members soon. We'll see. All right, average speed, 42% health for all allies. Duration of buffs is reset for all allies. Very cool skill. All allies get plus 30% crit for 4 turns. All allies get plus 50% attack for 4 turns. So there's a lot of really good stuff going on. I think if she was boosted health, she would be exceptional, especially as a bard. The duration of buffs thing is very unique, and it is cool. It doesn't always apply. Like, in my opinion, you would want to have this as an on-color synergy. Like with Black Knight, she's very interesting because he is soaking up most of the damage from the other team. You can save her until his taunt's about to expire, heal him back up, and reset the taunt again. That's pretty awesome. So you can think of other opportunities in red that she might be helpful for, but that is probably why she's at level 20 here, because that's a very unique skill that we still don't see very much. And I do still use her on occasion, not often, I think, again, because boosted health has just become the meta, but still some good stuff going on here. All right, 2 more, almost there. Tinsel, coming up on a year old now, I think, if not 2 years old. Don't remember. Fast speed, deals 340 to the target and nearby. Pretty solid damage for fast speed. Stats are going to lower that a bit compared to what you'd get from a new hero. Summons an elf minion with 10% HP, 10% attack. All right. Caster and nearby enemies get minus 14% defense. I'm going to read these separate. Minus 14% defense and minus 10% accuracy. At the base level, not very good. However, for the decreased defense, a further minus 5% decrease per each ice shield on the board for 4 turns, which is really nice, up to minus 54. So to get that, you would need to have 8 ice shields on the board to get minus 54. And if you have it, that's great. If you only have, let's say you have 3, you're getting minus 29%, which is a bit under the usual of like, minus 34, I think is what we see most often. So you could get minus 34 with 4 on the board. That can be tricky. It might sound like, oh, that's easy. It really depends. Sometimes you have plenty, sometimes you have none. So just keep in mind this hero's usability will swing a bit depending on what the board is like. So the accuracy can go up to minus 50. It also increases by 5. So you'll need 8 to max that out. Both of these ailments being for 4 turns is quite good. And being fast speed means that she'll be usable for a lot of people. So this is a great option as an attacker. It's a bit situational. However, there's some distinct benefits there. All right, last up, Green Knight. Can be very irritating. Fighter class, average speed. All enemies get minus 24% defense for 3 turns. So similar to Silvaria, the decreased defense is happening first. Deals 265% damage to all enemies. Decent, especially with the decreased defense first. If the caster is defeated during the next 5 turns, they are resurrected in the beginning of their next turn with 45% health and 700 and 65 damage is dealt to all enemies. That can go up to nothing. That does not go up with attack, so it's 765. This hero can be very annoying. If you have a Dispel, it's not an issue because Equalizer and Dispels do not trigger the damage. It's only if the hero is defeated. So if you have a Dispel against this hero, then you don't really need to worry about this. In terms of offense, a little harder because you don't know who the AI, I guess, is going to trigger, and it does feel to me like they've made some changes to that recently where it's a bit smarter about trying to target heroes that are more critical or that are charged or that can swing the battle more. So that means it might be able to avoid heroes like this. So not my personal choice. This is a hero that I did manage to pull once upon a time and never leveled. I've seen people use him to good effect. I have fought against him and lost before based on his skill. Maybe I wasn't being smart and bringing a Dispeller. But he's a little bit less interesting, but still has some distinct benefits. So as always, you kind of got to make up your mind for yourself. I can talk these things through, mention points that you might not have thought of, and ultimately you have to make a decision. No one can really tell you what you should do. And that's true with all things. So at this level, I would say Phenexa in the right synergies can be very strong. However, I think the synergy is key. She's not just like a standalone hero. She's one that can make a pair much better based on her unique ability. Tinsel has the potential to be very strong. Costume Panther, especially if you have a couple of them on a team, quite strong. So I think my top choices, I don't know how to pick one. Those 3 heroes are the most interesting to me, with Jkun and Green Knight being less interesting. But again, I've had trouble with those heroes facing them at certain times, so keep that in mind. So let me know what you ended up choosing, if this advice was helpful. And if you enjoyed the video, let me know. I want to hear from you guys.